All right, well, good afternoon, good evening, and aloha, everybody. This is Paul Tylor coming to you live and direct from the Kahala Coast here in the beautiful Big Island of Hawaii. Welcome to the Connection Hangout. I'm joined here this evening, all the way on the mainland of the United States, with my co-host, David Astorno. David, how you doing?
Great, Paul. How are you? How's Hawaii?
Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful. Had a fantastic presentation last night. I got to give some shout outs and props, of course, to Double Diamond executive Craig Linder. He's got two new superstars, Kristen, KT Sunshine, and Zach, and within just a week they had put together this amazing venue. We had a great full house at a church there. They're like around 30 years old, and we're going to talk a little bit in this hangout a little more about the younger demographic and some of the tools we have, and I'm pretty sure they're tuning in, so exciting stuff to go over tonight.
Awesome.
Okay, let's just do a little bit of housekeeping here. Again, this Connection Hangout, this is not a business presentation, it's not a product training, so relax. What we do here is we connect to real people, help people get real results, and we encourage you to ask questions. Right beneath the screen here, there's a comment section, comments thread. Now, here's a word of caution. Uncheck that little auto refresh box before you start typing. I know I've had a couple people that got a little frustrated because they're typing and all of a sudden it refreshes and it erases what they were typing. So uncheck that little box, type in your question, and I'll be monitoring that tonight because we're going to get some great information. And if something comes up, go ahead and pop your question in, and we'll be able to ask that, and you'll see it answered live. Okay. And so without further ado, what I want to do is I want to pass it right back over to David. He'll bring on our first guest tonight, speaker tonight, because he's got a great question that's on his mind. Back over to you, Dave.
Thank you very much, Paul. Well, tonight I'd like to bring on Triple Diamond Sue Brenchley to begin. Hi, Sue. How are you?
I am awesome, David.
Now, you and I have had a lot of discussion and debates, not just recently, for the past couple of years in regards to different types of presentations, an opportunity, focused presentation versus a product-focused presentation. And statistically, what's going to get someone the best results? And I know we've been having a lot of internal and external discussions. Would you like to share some information to all of our viewers today about this?
I would. That seems to be one of the hot topics going around our company right now is, do you lead with the product, do you lead with the opportunity? And the reality is you lead with what the person you're talking to is going to respond to. Now that can get really confusing, and as we've been going through this dialogue a lot, I've come up with an analogy I want to share tonight, which is the difference between a direct sales company and a network marketing company. Because what has happened is it used to be that there was a very big distinction between a direct sales company like Mary Kay or Tupperware or Avon versus a network marketing company, which was Amway or Nu Skin or some of the the giants in our industry. There used to be a very distinct separation. Now, the technology has kind of blurred those lines, so to say, so that now people are confused. They think we're all the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to help some of our audience really think differently in the future about this. A direct sales company is going to find some distributors through the process of selling their products. So when you think about Pampered Chef, when you think about Tupperware, you're going to parties, you're displaying products, and then you're going to ask after the fact, would anybody be interested in doing this as well and making some extra money? The focus on that is primarily to move the product and make retail sales. A network marketing company works a little bit differently. A network marketing company finds a lot of customers in the process of building their network, which starts with them being their own best customer and then finding other people to benefit from the product as well. But the primary focus in a network marketing company is to really teach people about residual income and about building strong networks that are based on business and how that process moves product. And so, I hope that as people are viewing this and start having that conversation, that we'll start understanding the distinction and the difference between the intent of what we're trying to do. So if I've got a room full of people or one person that I'm having a conversation with and introducing them to the concept of residual and leveraged income through building networks, then that message needs to be a little bit different than the product. And so you're going to find we are so focused here at Team Reactive to create the tool sets that you need for both of these functions. We have a product that can go both directions. We can have a group of people be successful in any way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to continue to plug in our presentations, the content of our presentations, the tool sets, and the technology to match that. So I'd like to bring on Michael. I just came off the road from Chicago and Calgary and Michigan with some new sets of presentations and some new messaging. Michael's just come back from Canada. So Michael, why don't you talk a little bit about what we've been doing lately that is getting more traction and feeling better about the flow of what we're doing?
Well, sure, be happy to. Again, it was exciting coming back from Toronto and Montreal, and Paul, I can relate to what you're saying about the folks there in Hawaii. We've got a lot of folks in the 20s and 30s that are part of the team there in Montreal, and it's a completely different energy, and it's a wonderful energy and a huge reception on it. But I have to say that the primary focus is people looking at this from the business perspective, even though they absolutely love the product. It's the product that got their attention and got their heart and got everything going as far as what this really represents. But it's about let's take care of doing this professionally and making this a business. So we've been spending a lot of time, all of us, looking at what is it that we're focusing on. We've got really 3 products that we have with our ASEA repertoire. We've got, of course, the ASEA Redox Supplement and Renew 28, but we also have the business opportunity that represents a distinct product that is our focal point. So in the presentation that seems to be really coming together and flowing, we've done it now, several of us, a couple different times in some different variations, is kind of setting the stage for that simultaneously from the very beginning. Yes, we've got this amazing technology, we've got this incredible product, but we're fulfilling such an important need in people's lives where they're looking to get away from the daily struggle and kind of the sort of rat race kind of thing that so many people find themselves in, and having a chance to harness something of this magnitude in terms of this incredible product and its uniqueness to parlay that into a phenomenal business that we can take advantage of, and having the whole presentation flow from that point forward so people can resonate with it from the very beginning rather than starting off with the business or starting off with the product, but kind of setting the stage with that in the very beginning and then have the whole thing flow kind of in a very nice way that covers both of those things very naturally because you've already set the stage for that. So I really like the way it's evolving. It's been getting really good results, and of course everything that we're doing to generate the tool sets that we've been so focused on is very reinforcing to that whole idea. But I think the key is, guys, is that we are at a place now in the history of our company where we have now the results, the product, the recognition, the branding that's getting out there into the awareness of people, where it's time to really parlay this into leveraging what we've got with this product, this technology, into a business that people can then really use to get the minds and the hearts of a much larger segment of the population that are just not looking at product needs, but they're looking for a product that they know is going to make a difference in the process of sharing the business. So that was great, Sue, and I really appreciated the way you positioned that, and I'll pass this back to David.
Thank you, Michael. Now, interesting, you just talked about leveraging and the hearts and the minds of individuals and going broader to a larger group. Now, one of the things that we've been having a lot of discussions on, in our group and on previous Connection Hangouts is, the younger crowd, the younger group. And how it's not, in fact, we talked a lot about it when a bunch of us were at GoPro, and people, especially the youth, there were youth on stage who pretty much built their business via social media and connection with their own peers. And one of the ways to do that is through apps. So I'd like to bring Tylor Brenchley on right now and ask you, Tylor, to talk a little bit about apps in the younger generation, some of the things that we're working on to be able to help move us forward with the youth.
Right. Well, thanks, David. It's good to be here with you guys. We've been working really hard on getting this app up and running. We've been going through some beta testing and going through and checking a lot of the use. Apps are what I would believe is the next level of network marketing, and the fact that we're a mobile society and nobody really wants to contact somebody and then go home, log on, sit down at a computer and do their business for an hour or 2 hours, just logging in and reading the script and doing those things. The youth, and I got to see a lot of those same youth at the GoPro event, where these people are building their business in the cracks of time that they have available, and that's what everybody needs. And not just the young people, but just we are such a busy culture, and it's so fast moving, and we're just constantly doing stuff. And so for us to have that ability to do a business presentation or that elevator moment where you can do that instantly, get information in their hands, and literally it's in their hands. They're looking at it while they're at soccer practice, or they're looking at it while they're sitting waiting in line for something, and those simple things. So this app that we're developing, there's some updates that are coming out. Some of them are server updates, which you'll see as early as tomorrow, so the app will change slightly in some of the functionality tomorrow. They're also updating a version, a build they call it, in the App Store that is going to just take the time, however long it takes Apple to approve those changes. So that could be anywhere from 3 days to 7 days, but it's just, when iOS 9 came out, they had a huge backlog of that because they had so many apps that needed to be updated. But now the developer says that we're back on track between 3 and 5 days. So at the beginning of next week, we should see a lot of changes. Now this is a threefold communication, recruiting, and training tool. And just one of the things that I'm super excited about that we've had some conversations about is the text messaging aspect, where our ability to get on our app and just get their telephone number and send them a text right then and there and say, here's a link. Now, that link goes to a landing page with information of a video or whatever we want. In the future, we'll be able to have a library full of stuff, but we're going to have videos or audios or PDFs, some type of information to get in their hands. And when they go and you send it to, if I send it to Michael, and Michael turns around and grabs his phone and looks at it maybe a half hour later when he's got a minute because he's got this text message, and everybody knows how you feel when that noise goes off on your phone or buzzes that you got a text message. You have to look at it. It's just a compulsory thing that we've been trained to do, especially the younger generation. But you get that, you look at it, and instantly it sends me a text message or a notification that Michael has now opened that link. It's unique to me. It's connected to me. And I can instantly say, okay, I'm going to follow up with him because I know that he's opened it. And if the video is 3 minutes long, I'm going to wait 3 minutes and I'm going to give him a call. But that's just the benefit that we have of being able to live and build our business in the cracks of our life instead of trying to rearrange our life to build our business.
It's interesting you bring this up, and you've said this a few times. I wrote this down because I think it's brilliant. Building your business in the cracks of time. And we are in that information overload, busy society. Busy doing what? I don't know sometimes, but we're always busy. And
distracted.
The one thing that you actually just mentioned is brilliant, and it's genius in a sense, and it's taking technology that, when I was building franchises, we built our franchise company, wow, it seems like yesterday, but it's about 12, 15 years ago. one of the things that we did is we had an autoresponder that went out when people requested information, and it gave us an email notification of when they actually clicked on the link and went to the website and were watching a video. And when we could catch someone while they were watching or right after they went to the website, we had a very high probability of having a conversation versus leaving a message and getting back. So having that ability to get that instant notification right there in the palm of your hand or on your watch, if you have one of the iWatches, it will significantly change people's ability to move someone forward because you're right there on that top of mind with someone instantly. This is brilliant.
Well, and another major point is my mom always taught me the second you open your mouth, you're teaching somebody how to do the business that you're in. And if you have a business that looks like I can do that, and everybody hey, you know what, I open my app, I send you a video, thanks for your time, I'll call you when you have a chance to look at it. That's simple. It's not like, well, I've got to have this back office and log in and do all these things and send emails, and I did it in 10 seconds and it's done. And you know what? That intrigues me. I'm going to watch the video. Great, they watch it. And you call them 3 minutes later and say, noticed you watched the video, what'd you think? Or not what'd you think, or what did you like the best, or whatever those follow-up questions that you use. But that's intriguing to people. Not necessarily spooky or creepy like you're stalking them, but to be able to know.
I like the cyber stalking portion better. I think it's kind of cool.
So just to have that ability where you're now teaching them instantly how to do a business, and they look at it and say, I can do that. That's simple. So that's another thing it's right in your face. Look at how simple this is, and you either like it or you don't.
Very cool.
Very good, very good. Yes, very powerful. And like we know, like David was kind of alluding to, our time is kind of getting crazy and schedules getting scattered, building in the cracks of your life. Absolutely wonderful. And what people are doing, they're just getting distracted. So it's easy to, right with the thing that they're getting distracted with, slam a message in front of them and right in your face that they're going to end up clicking on, even if it's just out of curiosity, and getting them going right away. And then if they can do the same thing immediately, again, this has a very huge viral potential. Okay, let's shift gears now to our ABC platform. We've got a couple of announcements that have been made during this past week. There is a new featured tag in the library that's actually selected by default. So what this is going to do is show you the most commonly used library assets, like videos and documents, and that way the chances of when you go there, you're going to see something that you need right there in the first screen. These are the ones that are being the most used by the user base as a whole. So nothing's been removed. You can always search for whatever you need to find specifically, but it will hopefully expedite your ability to send the most commonly used types of media communications. The daily action plan email now includes your to-do list as well as your schedule. Jeannie's been showing both when you actually log into the platform, but she was only emailing the schedule up until now. So you're going to get both your to-do list and your schedule. So that's going to be and everyone should be noticing this because it took place about a week ago that it was launched. And you can now click any task in your daily action plan to go directly to that task. And you have the control over the sequence of your daily activities. Jeannie's getting faster and faster and more efficient, so keep your eye out and keep logging in, guys. I think it's really fun to see her as she's developing and as all this feedback's coming in to see it being implemented to make your lives a lot easier and the process a lot smoother. Okay, in closing here, I mean, I'd like to kind of give some feedback to what Michael was talking about and Sue in the beginning, because I actually had an experience this morning with that. There was a lady we had that came to a presentation, and she signed up, super excited, last night, and she went home and she got a little rained on her parade by her husband, and he had some negative experience in the past with regards to network marketing. So she got, as I said, one of those pyramid things, kind of. I mean, he was actually pretty involved in the other things. She didn't really go the pyramid route, but he just was like, no, you know, it ruined our credibility the last time. There's friends that I can't even look at. I mean, they walk away, you know, sometimes if we're on the same side of the street. So very, very hesitant about it. And so it was really, really important for him to feel comfortable and confident in the product. So this was one of those instances where you kind of, don't want to be ramming, you know, a business and drawing circles and triangles, you know, right off the bat. And he's even said, because if you did that, I would just probably walk out. So the powerful part about ASEA, and what's really comforting is we do have multiple angles. I mean, we recommend you, again, go through the process that Michael went over and Sue talked about. You know, we're leading with the opportunity, but when you get a situation like that, you can always pull out of your back pocket this amazing, patented, transformational technology that we represent. And his eyes got wide open, and he's like, okay, I'm literally verbatim. He said by the end of it, he said, I'm in. And he was wholeheartedly about it. He drilled me for 40 minutes, you know, with his various concerns. But at the end of it, I'm in. And it was funny. Three times during the thing, from the very beginning, she said, "I already signed up. I'm doing this." You know, without. So it was great. I'm like, oh, you know, we're gonna start throwing food or something at each other. But it was really, really great. So yeah, so just know, like Michael and Sue were talking about, be a good listener and don't try to force the wrong thing if it's just not appropriate. And you'll see that you know, we have it all. We can offer it all to everybody. All right, David, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting you brought up that story. I actually got a call. I mean, it has to do with what you just said. I received a message on Facebook because we posted the video and the photo from GoPro, and it's someone who asked me if they could just talk to me. And I said, sure. And I don't know this gentleman very well. I haven't seen him really for about 1.5 years. I met him and I gave him some advice. He's like, you just keep giving to me. I haven't given anything back to you. I'm like, that's okay. Anyway, he called me. He's like, he's got a big problem. You know, he's interested in network marketing. You know, his wife is in one business and he's in banking and finance. And he's like, how do you do it? And it was that same thing. So we literally had a conversation for, you know, about 20, 30 minutes. And anyway, we're going to get together in the next few weeks in person. But it's that same thing. Sometimes people it's that fear. And it's when you come from an approach of, like we talked about today, really what's important to someone else. And not just hammering, I've got an opportunity. It's really, how do you approach someone and going through the system and really getting comfortable so that way you can just make it happen.
Right. You know, at the end of this conversation, and after I did, you know, made him very comfortable with the fact of our amazing, unique technology and products, you know, I still did, you know, of course, throw in though. I said, you know, I totally get that if you were with a company that's all they talked about it was money and over the top stuff, you know, and really didn't have any substance and didn't have a real product. I get that, but I said still, if your goal is to build a big business here, you know, I really want to encourage you to take a deeper dive into learning about the model itself and how to properly do the model ethically and professionally. And I think if you make that little extra effort, you're going to see that it's totally, not only totally legit, but that it's the right education that you should be focusing on teaching your other, you know, folks to. So he's, you know, got his gears spinning. He was still a little hesitant, but I think at least he wasn't negative. You know what I mean?
Well, and sometimes it's just time. I mean,
yeah,
it's just time.
Yeah, and what I like to tell people too, especially when they're doing this in the beginning and stuff, you know, if I see one of those, it's like, hey, it's okay to be skeptical, but being negative, that's not good. I mean, there are two different things, right? Because he apologized to me a couple times. He said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you know, I'm skeptical," and I go, "Hey, don't apologize for that." I go, "I'm skeptical. Everyone who knows me, you know, knows immediately you're going to get drilled with a lot of questions, pretty deep questions. But there's a difference between being skeptical and being negative. If it's no matter what I say, you're just going to just say the opposite. That's being negative. But you're asking some great questions, and you know, let's continue to move forward. And when you give that kind of a posture, people start to open up more. They start to take down their guard, and they start to, I think, start to transition into seeing potential, you know, versus potential for success rather versus all the potential of failure. And that's really where most people need to be.
Absolutely. Awesome.
All right. Well, I want to thank all of our special guests this evening: Michael Stern, Sue Brenchley, Tylor Brenchley. Special thanks to my co-hosts there, David Asarno in Marietta, Georgia. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Paul, for showing up while you're on vacation.
It's always vacation, man.
That's true.
We are speaking of that, we'll be in St. Thomas next week. So I've got to go from Hawaii to St. Thomas. There's something wrong with that.
You just want to travel. You want to go from across. You want to go halfway across the world.
I know, it's hard to believe. What a few weeks ago I was in Munich at Oktoberfest, and it's kind of crazy. Got my Munich shirt on. But so next week, as a heads up, we will not be having a connection hangout next week. We will have our TRM calls in the morning. We've got coverage for the various days for those people that are still going to be back here in the States. But we will not be having a connection hangout. So make a note of that on your calendar. We will be back the following week, give you some great updates from what happens down there in St. Thomas, and looking forward to seeing all the great diamonds down there at the Ritz-Carlton St. Thomas Virgin Islands. All right, everyone, go out and have a fantastic rest of your evening, rest of the week, and see you later. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.